Welcome to CosmoFactory, a podcast by Cosmoprof Worldwide Bologna, where we explore the entire cosmetics, personal care, and fragrance industry supply chain. I'm your host, Deanna Utrusky, and here at CosmoFactory, we look beyond the trends to discover the ideas, initiatives, and innovations that are truly advancing beauty. Let's get started. This episode is about phototherapy, microcurrent therapy, bioelectric therapy, thermal skincare therapy, and more. It's about the added benefits that such treatments can bring to at-home skincare. It's about the convergence of beauty tech, beauty packaging, and beauty devices. Alain Dijkstra, CEO of Nuon, is joining me today on CosmoFactory. Alain, welcome to CosmoFactory.
Diana, welcome and welcome to everybody listening to this show. Thank you for this invitation to CosmoFactory. Very excited to be on this cast.
Wonderful. So just to set the scene here, and you can jump in and correct me if I don't quite have it right, but Nuon manufactures caps and closures that double as treatment devices or product applicators for cosmetics and personal care products. Is that sort of the short version of your company?
Yeah. So if you want the real short version, I always try to interpret it to customers as we're the toothbrush of the toothpaste industry. So we're really just trying to enhance what the formulation is already trying to do.
Because we know high-tech devices and treatments are commonly used in the professional sector, right? The med spa, conventional spas, dermatology practices, but now they're increasingly popular in consumer beauty. So I'd love to think about some of the individual therapies and why a product developer or brand would pair a particular therapy with their skincare formula. If you don't mind, I'd like to start by thinking about thermal skincare therapy, so sort of heating or cooling
Oh,
devices.
wow.
Why do
Okay.
those technologies pair well with skincare?
So thermal skincare technology has been used for years,
Yeah.
and it's been out there in med spas and also in home use right now. But it's never been incorporated in the applicator or in the packaging of the cosmetic treatment itself. Just diving into, for example, cooling. Under the cooling, you already have three or four more different ways to apply that cooling to the skin. So it doesn't need to be always just a metallic part, a zinc alloy, and then you somehow cool the skin in that way. You can also do it, for example, with a pelture, where you have a pelture element, what on one side potentially creates cold, and on the other side will create double the heat.
Mhm.
So, and pelture cooling has been used industrial and in surgical rooms for many years. And now, because as technology moves on, the same as a mobile phone, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. The pelture elements go as small as literally a grain of rice.
Mhm.
So it makes it possible to enhance a tip of an eye cream with an electronic cooling element.
Yes.
And that cooling, of course, as dermatologists and formulators know that it can have a lot of benefits to the absorption of the cosmetics, the treatment to the skin. There is an endless variety on just cooling itself. And then the other side, heating can be done by one, it's a conductive heating where you look at, for example, an heating element made out of carbon. But an heating element made out of carbon is penetrating a lot more deeper into the skin and doesn't create any superficial heating, but it creates muscle tissue heating.
Mhm.
So once you create that type of heating, then you stimulate, for example, blood flow, collagen production on a very deep level of the skin, what definitely helps with anti-aging or so on. But then also you have ceramic heating, what
Right.
is 100% only on the surface of the skin. And that ceramic heating is beautiful for breaking up proteins, for example, on the skin. So when you have foreign proteins from a mosquito bite or a bee bite or any other animal or plant that causes an itch or an allergy even, then what you can use is you can use a ceramic heating element to flash break that up. So it's with a flash pulse, we increase it to a 60 degrees, and then it breaks up the protein into the skin, and it has a medical claim to it that creates the itch away. So
Hmm.
if your formulation is, for example, made for cause of treatments of itchy skin or by plants or animals, or maybe is good for anti-mosquito bite, then Nuon has the technology to pair with that to break up those proteins.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
like you stack the benefits in a very medical way, where maybe the formulation wanted to get the medical claim, but it didn't achieve the claim of saying this is able to reduce itchy skin with a mosquito bite, or this is able to remove the bee venom.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very, very interesting. Let's think a little bit about maybe we'll just choose one, but of the bioelectric therapies, I know this would include microcurrent therapy, vibration, TENS, PEMF, which I'm still learning, pulsed electromagnetic
Yeah,
field
pulse
technology.
electric
But choose
magnetic
one of these
fields.
bioelectric treatments and help us think about pairing that with topical skincare.
So for example, all those treatments come with a positive and a negative polarity.
Sure.
And those negative and positive polarities, they work in a very deep muscle-based tissue. They work superficial on the skin because of the vibration on the muscles. You're stimulating and you're reducing the wrinkles. So once you add that into a spatula or into an eye cream, then you're already able to claim anti-aging with that cream. So
Mhm.
if your cream has actives, but they can't have the wording of anti-aging behind it, then just add one of our spatulas, add the microcurrent in there, and you're able to make the medical claim that your cream as a solution, together with the spatula, has an anti-aging clearance on it. So it definitely benefits those claim buildings, it
Yes.
benefits the formulation. And what you see is that if you want to, for example, create a better penetration into the skin, then creating a negative ion layer onto the skin by reducing or running the polarity in a negative way over the skin, you actually pull the cosmetics into the skin. So where the top layer of the skin is trying to fight the formulation, now by creating a negative ion layer onto the skin by using a microcurrent, we're able to pull in this formulation into the skin, what then enhances the penetration, what enhances the effects of the formulation.
Yeah, yeah.
So using something like the microcurrent, you have an endless of possibilities in creating benefits, not just for the muscle tissue, not for the collagen, the mitochondria in the cells, but also into the penetration depth of the formula itself.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Thank you. And let's do at least one more here. Let's think about phototherapy. I know particularly red light
Ooh.
therapy is quite prevalent, but there are all sorts of wavelengths and intensities you can apply here.
Yes, 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 yes. Right now, there are about 8,500 clinical studies done on phototherapy, and they go very wild from benefits on skin, eczema, but also anti-aging, collagen production, anti-acne, and so on. And what it does is the beauty of it stimulates your natural body itself. So it's like creating the energy in the cells to repair itself in a natural way without zero side effects. So we still need to find the side effects of light therapy. as right now the only side effect we have ever seen is when we start carbonizing the cells. But that is like over stimulating and actually burning the cells by using too much light.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
when you use it in a very natural way, we see it's just like adding some more energy to the cells and it drives itself to repair.
Hmm.
And their red light therapy, I think you're very familiar with, as well as the listeners. We have been making that for the last 20 years. And now, with the technology, with the batteries getting smaller and the lights getting smaller, you're able to apply a very efficacious treatment just in the tip of of an eye cream, or even in the jar, in the lid. So we find out very creative ways to incorporate the lights as well as the design into the formulation of the jar that they're already using.
Yeah, and you're mentioning there that the technology is remarkably smaller, and that certainly makes it possible to put this technology into caps and closures and applicators. You also
Exactly,
mentioned
yes.
that it helps with claims. And I'm imagining that if the applicator is built into the product, that certainly helps with consumer compliance of using an applicator, or what I would think of as a device.
Yeah.
But maybe are those the only reasons, or are there other reasons why you chose to do sort of caps and closures with this technology rather than standalone devices?
So yeah, we have been making devices for the last 20 years, and we see that yes, a very large percentage of the population understands it. But right now, for us as a mission to showcase this technology more widely, we saw we hit a certain level that yes, we already provide 70% of the device industry in the market. But for us to really bring this to a next level, we have decided to go more into the consumer industry, where each consumer should have a light therapy or one of these modalities in their hands to experience it. And the only way to do this was to automate the production in such a way that there is zero manual labor involved with, so that we're able to reduce the cost and being able to hit those quantities in a way that is the same as making a jar or a tube.
Mhm.
So as we produce in Nuon, our production is fully automated. There is no manual process in any development of these tools. And that is why you see that the costings for these medical claims and even these medical devices is so low that you can even compare it with some of the actives. So when you look at the actives in the formula, maybe even some formulators can decide, oh, maybe I don't add any of these actives because I can add nuance technology and even save money while still making those medical claims.
Mhm.
So you end
Mhm.
up saving money with your formulation and still sell the same efficacy to your customer by using these medical devices into your cosmetic packaging.
Yeah, no, that makes good sense. And I definitely want to ask you a couple questions about manufacturing and production before we finish up here. But one thing that's sort of nagging on my mind, and I'm guessing it's going to be on the listeners' minds as well, is thinking about, sort of what happens next, right? After the consumer uses this product. Is your technology somehow disposable, or what's the design here after consumer
So
use?
that's a beautiful question. That is, and that is something we put very, very high as official B Corp certified manufacturer.
Yeah.
So we're an official B Corp certified manufacturer that showcases that we are all about sustainability. And real sustainability does not come from the manufacturer. You might think as a manufacturer that, okay, I make a product that is sustainable, but at the end of the day, it's still that recycled plastic that needs to be made. And what now if the customer doesn't see the value to ask for a refill? It is a very, very difficult mission as a supplier to go and stimulate those users to buy a refill kit without adding value. So even creating a very artistic bottle or making it as beautiful as you can, it doesn't stimulate the user at the end of the day to ask for that refill. Now, we with Nuon, we have seen in internal studies that when we add the value. So we add, for example, measurement technologies, where in the lid of the jar you can measure your skin for moist or for oil, or you can make diagnostics,
Yes.
or yeah, add something like a light therapy device that helps with wrinkles under your eyes. And adding that value to the packaging, somehow it becomes very difficult to throw away that jar.
Yeah.
So once the people see that this is giving them a feedback on their skin, and once they see the benefits of the treatment, they will definitely call you for a refill kit. So real sustainability is not from the supplier, not from the manufacturer, but it's coming from the user that buys the product. And
Yeah. And
once they
I guess my
see that
follow-up question there then
added
is
value,
how durable is
yes.
this technology? How many times might a consumer be able to
So
refill one of these
so we
packages?
use we give options for our customers where we have single use batteries, but we also give them rechargeable options. I think this is the
Yes.
most most picked solution, and it's also the most economical solution, where for a few dollars you have a beautiful functional medical device that goes on your jar, and you can charge it for more than 500 times. So
Mhm.
until the end life of the lithium battery, where every session of charging will leave you for about 10 treatments, you can charge the device and recharge it as much as a mobile phone would be possible.
Yeah.
So and LEDs, yeah, they have a very long lifetime. So as we see, the only real lifespan is into the lithium battery, and that is equal to a mobile phone.
Yeah. No.
And we have these rechargeable. Now we also have even a more upgraded solution, and that is called super capacitive charging. And this super capacitive charging is something used in weather stations, in satellites, and other places, but now is being made in a very small size as well, as small as as a jar would be. And that means that the battery, the supercapacitor, goes without a lifespan. So you can recharge it as many times as you want.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that is, I think, the most sustainable solution. You can take it on the plane without any worries, because supercapacitors don't have that safety demand like a lithium battery.
Yes, yes. No, perfect. I appreciate your sharing all of that. And you mentioned that your manufacturing is highly automated. Certainly, cosmetic industry production facilities are becoming more robotic, more automated, but there is some hesitation that I hear from certain manufacturers, and even sometimes, automation providers are a little bit reluctant, I think, I don't know, to help our industry think about how quickly we could be accelerating this sort of technology adoption. I'm just
Yeah.
curious, if you could help us think maybe about sort of any, I don't, is it cultural reluctance? How have you overcome that? How have you made this possible in your facility?
So there's still many processes that you can't automate. The design and engineering process is something we do a lot of joy, and we have 600 engineers in our company that do this with a lot of fun, and they love the engineering and they love the work with the customer. But when it comes to putting two pieces of plastic together with a PCB board, I can tell you this is 100% automated process. This is done with visual camera inspections for quality. It is done with a fully automated process in a way that there is not one person in the between putting the pieces of plastics, the PCB boards, and the batteries into the machine until it's packed and finished up.
Mhm.
So, and that is really only the only way for us to continue in this business, what is a very competitive industry already. So, for us to be able to convince the cosmetic providers to now change out their 50 cents jar lid for a $2 or $3 jar lid and still make a profit, the only way to do this is by fully automating the process.
Mhm.
Now, yeah, there are steps, for example, like the software designing as well as the tool making. Although our tool making is a top-notch GF automated tool making, you still need people to program these tools on a every secondary day basis. For the programming of the machine, we would run about, on an average computer automated system, we would run about 5 to 10,000 units a day. So once the production run is finished, we will need to set it up with a person again. So the
Mhm.
setup, yes, 100% by people, and I'm very happy that that is so. But the putting the two pieces of plastics together, no. This is something we should definitely leave over to these robots or automated production lines.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And since you are paying so careful attention to technology, maybe in a number of spaces here, it seems, I'm wondering if you see anything sort of coming next in this digital physical manufacturing world.
Oh, I can tell you on our side, we're a huge fan of the robotic arms. So you see that our factory has a whole number of robotic arms that we program ourselves in-house. And the programming of these arms and the process has become more and more simple. So it's as simple as AI now starts to do coding. We see that the programming of these robots also getting easier and easier with the day. What we do see is that, yeah, automation and the robotic programming moves to a next level here, and it moves very fast these days. So the solution we have today, we find out that next week is already automated. So it's beautiful to be at this time of stage right now in the production industry, especially in the countries and where we operate. It's on a very quick basis. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's super interesting. And you've certainly given us all a lot to think about, Alan. I thank you for speaking with me here today on Cosmo Factory.
Thank you so much. It was great sharing this.
Thank you so much for listening. If you find the Cosmo Factory podcast useful, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and share your thoughts so even more cosmetic industry professionals can discover the Cosmo Factory. I'm Deanna Utrusky. Please join me again next Tuesday for a new episode of the Cosmo Factory podcast.